All right, today is day 46, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a short video. It seems like we've had days of really long videos, so hopefully this one will go quick. Grab your worksheet, day 46, capitalization. Capitalize historical events, documents, and legislative acts. And the example that they have is the Bill of Rights, and you'll see the B and the R are capitalized. So let's take a look at our example. Did Amendment 22, which called for a two-term limit for residency in the White House, become effective when Nevada ratified it? All right, well, what do we know? First of all, first word in the sentence is going to be capitalized. And then we have a legislative act, Amendment 22. So we know from what we just learned, we need to capitalize the A in amendment, which called for a two-term limit for residency in the White House. That would be capitalized, the W in white and the H in house, because it is a specific place. And then become effective when Nevada ratified it. The N in Nevada would be capitalized because it's a state. So this is what your capitalizations should look like. Good. Punctuation. Place a comma before a title that occurs after a name. And they're talking about like a professional title here, not a book title. If the title occurs within a sentence, place commas both before and after it. For example, they have Mark Ong, comma, R period D period. So that's his title. Now, here he is in a sentence. Mark Ong, comma, R period D period, comma, is employed by Hall Hospital. And you'll notice at the end of Hall Hospital, they have end punctuation. There's a period there. Don't forget your periods at the end of your sentences. Okay, so let's take a look at the sentence we have to punctuate. I'd like you to meet Sally Jones Tang, PhD, sometime soon, said Lisa. Okay, we got a lot of things going on here. We have the said Lisa at the end, so we know there's going to be a quote. I'd like you to meet Sally Jones Tang, PhD, sometime soon. All that is a quote. So you would put quotation marks before I'd and after soon. And then you have said Lisa, period. Okay, now let's take a look at everything that's in between. I'd. I'd is a contraction for I would. So you go I apostrophe D. I'd like you to meet Sally Jones Tang. Jones Tang would have a hyphen because it would be her maiden name and her married name joined together. And so you put a hyphen there to denote that. Sally Jones, comma, PhD, period, comma, sometime soon, comma. And you got to make sure that that comma comes before the quotation marks that we put in at the beginning when we figured out where the quote was. So taking all of that together, what you'd end up with is, I'd like you to meet Sally Jones Tang, PhD, soon, said Lisa, period. Okay, got all that? Good. Let's move on to the phrases and clauses section. A clause must contain both a subject and a verb. However, not all clauses form sentences because some do not express a complete thought. These are called dependent clauses. Write X in the blank if the clause is a dependent clause. All right, so the first clause we have is pearls are formed from an irritation to a grain of sand. Is that a complete thought? Yeah, it is. So don't put anything. Leave that blank. B, if Carlo wants to go with us to Everglades National Park, what? Okay, that did not give us all the information we needed. That is a dependent clause, so you will put an X on that blank line. C, who takes her time. Who takes her time is not a complete thought. It may be a clause, but it's not an independent one. It is a dependent clause. Therefore, you're going to put an X down. All right, next we have parts of speech, adjectives. Circle the correct adjective form. All right. If you don't remember when you use more or most, I would suggest you look back at day 34, and it talks about when you use more and when you use most, okay? You use more when you're comparing two things. You use most when you're comparing three or more things, okay? So we have Mario is more polite or most polite than his older brother. Well, let's take a look. What do we say? You use more if you're comparing two things and most if you're comparing three things. Here we're comparing Mario and his brother. That's two things. So the correct answer would be more. Mario is more polite than his older brother. Now you're to sentence combining already. 3 sentences to combine into 1 sentence, which is not a run-on. I know that you can do it. I look forward to reading what you do. God bless you.